98.1 FM and AM 1220.
It is 7:39. It's coming up on 7:40 in studio. Special guest, Cesar Ranuschio. I'm going to try that again. Wait, no. That wasn't good enough. That wasn't good enough. Kyle would be upset with me. Cesar Ranuschio. Much better,
Perfect,
right?
Perfect.
I got to wind up a little bit.
Italian accent and everything.
That's me. Okay. So, Cesar, how you doing?
Pretty good.
So, before we want to talk about summer, we want to talk about maintenance, we want to talk about what happens if you have a little fender bender. I want to thank you personally because my husband, someone ran into him, and we took the car to you. It looks like a brand new car.
Thank you.
Not only the work is just absolute, like you can't tell anything happened. It worked out because the guy who hit my husband paid you directly.
Yeah.
So there was no issue with payment. You had it on time. You promised it a certain day, and you had it a certain day.
Yeah.
You promised it, and it happened. And we are so pleased and grateful for you taking care of that.
Thank you for the business.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, yes. And hopefully, I say this in the best way. Hopefully, we'll never have to come to you again. But you never know, right? So, Cesar, summer's coming. Mm-hmm. Summer's coming,
yes.
And there's a whole checklist of things we need to do to get our car ready because summers are brutal here
in the desert.
In the Santa Clarita Valley, right?
Yeah.
And that sun beats down on your car, and we've got to check some stuff. So help me out.
A lot of time with the weather changes, the tires inflate and deflate. So the tire pressure is very important, especially if you're commuting a lot. Mm-hmm. Other thing is water. Sometimes the water... I have a little bit older cars, it tends to go down every couple of months, so it's very important to keep an eye on that. And always oil for lubrication, because when it's hotter, it's harder for that motor because it's running hotter and it's hotter outside. So make sure you always keep your eye on the temperature because the overheating is the number one killer of cars, The other thing is batteries. You notice when the temperature goes from being colder to being hotter, like the car gives you a little trouble to start. Mm-hmm. So it's good to maybe take it somewhere and have it fully charged. That way you get a fresh new start with it and you can buy some more time from that battery.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you could do that. I'm from the East Coast, and we used to do this thing religiously in the cold weather, especially the snow. We would start our cars and let them run. We'd go inside, have breakfast, whatever, right? But now I'm hearing that's not such a great thing to do. What do you think on that? What's your opinion on that, Cesar?
Out here in California, we don't have to worry about it too much. The problem is when where it snows and things freeze, if you have too much water in the coolant system, the water freezes in there. And the problem is the motor's running and the water's not circulating. So that's kind of bad for the car sometimes. That's why cars from the East Coast and stuff, sometimes they put just antifreeze and no water, just so it has more, flow because you need the flow. Imagine if there's a chunk of ice there and the engine's running, it's going to get hotter, the pistons and the sleeves and stuff.
Right. And we'd be sitting there going, wait a minute, why am I overheating? It's 32 degrees.
Yeah, but then you mess up the rings and stuff like that in the motor.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about car crashes. Fender benders, getting rear-ended, which is what happened to my husband.
Yeah.
The first thing you do, I'm assuming, is you call, when this happens, you make sure everybody's okay.
Yeah.
And then you call insurance?
We got to make sure when they do that the other person is responsible. Sometimes we have them pay, up front because if they don't have the money at the beginning, they might not have it at the end. And I don't want to have the car, hostage stuck there. So that's very important, I usually have like a little contract just to make everybody, comfortable and happy. If you do get in an accident and say you're somewhere further, there's some information you need. Thank God today we have so much technology so we can take photos of everything because you need their name, address, phone number. You need, picture of the crash, a picture of the license plate if possible. Mm-hmm. Those are important stuff to have. And the most important is the insurance card. The insurance card, the whole reason why you're getting a picture of it or getting is the policy number. That way, if they decide to not answer their phone or if they don't call you back, you can call the insurance. But a lot of times their insurance won't cover until they speak to you and the other person. So it's all like a system. So if it's not your fault, if you can have them report it first and give you a claim number, and then it's easy sailing,
Have you ever had an issue with payment like that? Has someone ever?
I've had. That's why I have all these rules and stuff. In Santa Clarita, we're pretty good, But my dad had a shop in LA before, and that's a little bit more scary, so.
And someone would, leave their car there for a while and not pay, or what would happen?
Well, no, when it's third party, you imagine you bring me your car.
Sure.
We repair it, and then they left town and they don't pick up their phone.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just the stress, you know what I mean? For you, for me, for everybody, which I try to avoid, easy sailing, is the best way to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's talk about this checklist.
Yes.
The phone is so important because we have easy access. Can you imagine years ago when we were growing up, when we had cars, we didn't have a phone with a camera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just actually, I want to say like 15 years ago, not even growing up. We didn't have that easy access to grab the phone, make sure you have a picture of the crash, the picture of the, all these pictures help. And can help you out with the insurance and send them in and say,
just in the 90s we didn't have all that technology, it's changed so much, it's important. Sometimes though you get in an accident and you forget because you have the adrenaline pumping, so it's good to have maybe a little checklist. I know like AAA and stuff, they have a little checklist to have in your glove box, so you look at it and you don't forget anything. The insurance, their phone number. I've had so many cases where they don't have the person's phone number and we can't get a hold of them. Right. It's like, how do you get a hold of them?
Well, because in all fairness, Cesar, we kind of lose our head a little bit. We get so shook up, the anxiety, and you want to make sure no one's hurt. And once you pass that part, you try and remember all of these things, and sometimes we just forget because we're so wound up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You have so much adrenaline pumping and you're nervous, Yeah, it's a lot going through at the same time.
So here's an idea. How about we call you? If we don't think we have all the stuff, why don't we call you at Body Shop 661?
Yes, of course.
Why don't we do that? What's the number there?
My phone number at Body Shop 661 is 661-251-2252.
So if we call you and say, hey, listen, I've got the picture, I've got the license plate, I've got the guy's name and number, what else do I need? You can walk us through that.
Yeah, I can walk you through that. And if you guys want, all of you guys can come over and we can talk about it there just to organize everything. Like I said, accidents happen, fault not at fault. So we're trying to make it the smoothest possible for everybody, What
about if it's a really bad one and someone needs a rental car? Do you have
I work access? with other companies in Santa Clarita. I work with Enterprise and Hertz, and if you don't have rental car coverage, I get some discounts, so I'm happy to pass those on to you to help you out,
Fantastic. So we're really not skipping a beat here. We're just it happens. We take care of it. We move on with our life.
Yes.
And you do magnificent work. I'm a witness to that. Awesome. Cesar Ranuschio from Body Shop 661. So cute. You're so cute. From Body Shop 661, Cesar. Do you have a website?
Yes.
What is
Bodyshop661.com.
Oh, that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Bodyshop661.com. You can call them. You can check it out online. Thank you so much for coming in. It's always a pleasure having you here, giving us some tips so we get ready for the summer and hopefully no crashes. But if they do, you're the guy to see. Thanks so much, Cesar. I appreciate it.